Hey, welcome to this little chat. I was talking the other day to a friend of mine who was talking about Easter and then the coming of Passover and so forth. And in that he began to talk about, what Christ had done on the cross and, how he had given his life as a ransom. He became this Passover lamb. And in the course of the conversation, he became a little bit fixated on the crucifixion and had marginalized the resurrection. I just think that the resurrection is very important. Paul certainly writes this in 1 Corinthians 15. Paul says this, he says in verse 20, Christ has indeed been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. And he's talking there in the context of saying to the Corinthian church, listen, the resurrection is vitally important. But he uses this word first fruits. And without having a big theological discussion about the whole thing, let me just give you some thoughts about how I see this first fruits. When Paul uses that expression, Jesus' resurrection was the first fruits. Every Jewish person understood that at Passover there was a first fruits offering. There was also a first fruits offering at Pentecost. They're two different fruits that are offered. In the Passover one, the first fruits there would be the barley. Barley has been harvested. That ripens before the wheat does, and that would be presented there as the offering would be the barley. As you move on the next 7 weeks, then the wheat harvest ripens and it's brought in along with the rest of the barley. And but at Pentecost we have the bread, which is, by the way, got leaven in it this time, whereas at Passover it was unleavened bread. At Pentecost it's leavened bread, so it's risen and nice yeasty bread, and along with olives and grapes are offered there at Pentecost. Let me just give you a thought about this for a moment. First fruits offering like that meant to the Jewish people, they were able to harvest the barley, but they weren't able to trade it and sell it, eat it and so forth until that offering had been made. Once the offering had been made, then it could all be acted upon and released. And I just think this is beautiful. It takes Jesus to be crucified, yes, but then it takes him to rise from the dead as the first fruits. That indicates to me that, wow, from that moment on, he set the course for life after death to be initiated. It was talked about before, but now, after this offering, it can be initiated. Of course, when we at Passover, that's a beautiful start. But then as we move into Pentecost, we see the beautiful offering has been expanded to not only to the barley, but also to the wheat, and the bread, and the grapes, and the olives. And I think, wow, at Pentecost we've got this great expanse of release of the church. And but today, let me just think about that. Jesus was our first fruits, and he began the whole process right there as he rose from the dead. Thanks for taking time with me.